Okay, everyone, welcome to week 1 of class. If you click over here on learning activities, this is the page it's going to take you to. And so we want to start in week 1, introductions and first steps to drawing. So each week you will see an agenda. Be sure that you read through these every week, and because every once in a while things are going to slightly change, be sure you watch these videos. So we're going to start off this week with some reading. In your drawing on the right side of the brain text, I'd like you to read the introduction and chapters 1 and 2. Now this text is really easy read. There's a lot of pictures. It shouldn't take you very long to get through, but like I said in the overview video, the author gives some really helpful tips and just psychological tips for opening up that right side of our brain. This is really going to help you when we go through these workbook activities, when we start doing these drawing assignments. So make sure that you do that reading. We have a discussion board. So each week we're going to have an artist of the week. Sometimes you're going to have questions due, and sometimes you may not. So we're going to talk about Vincent van Gogh this week. So first week, he's such a fun one to start with. And I've given you a documentary called Van Gogh Painted with Words. This, if you have a little bit older children, this might be one that they would enjoy. It's just a little mature subject matter for some of the littler ones. But Benedict Cumberbatch actually plays Van Gogh in this documentary. And it's really a neat perspective because all the words that you hear him and the other characters speaking in this documentary, it's kind of a docudrama, are all from the letters that Van Gogh and his brother and family wrote back and forth to each other. So you're actually getting to hear the artist's own words here. It's really brilliantly done, and students always enjoy this one very much. So make sure you click here to watch the video, and it should take you to a Vimeo link where you can view this film. So there it is. It's just about 2 hours long. And then I'd like you to click on this. I'll do that a little bit slower. The Met Museum's interactive lesson. So if you click on this, How Van Gogh Made His Mark, and it will take you to this really neat little interactive page. This is definitely for all ages. And so it's going to walk through some interesting ideas about Van Gogh's line style. He has this really expressive quality to his work. So go ahead and load that and enjoy walking through that. The cool thing about highlighting different artists each week is it's going to help us open up our own creative brain and think about our own style and where we can pull and garner influence from different artists. So with these discussion boards, all you have to do is click on this and it will open up the discussion board forum, and you can create your own thread. And actually, let's just go ahead and do that. So if we click Discuss Vincent van Gogh, here's the form. You can see that there's no items found yet, so we would hit Create Thread. And here's the description again. So these are the questions that I'd like you to answer. I'm looking for about 2 to 3 sentences for each of these bullet points. So how did Van Gogh use a variety of expressive lines to convey emotion? Give at least one example from the film. Be descriptive. How is Van Gogh's sense of faith present in his artwork? So again, try and give at least one example of the film, because ultimately art is an expression of creativity, and that has value because God is the creator, right? And so we're actually kind of, when we create art, it's almost an act of worship, I think. So the third question I want you to engage with is, imagine you are Van Gogh. What do you see in your self-portrait? So in these discussion boards, we always want to make sure that we're interacting with our peers. So something you might ask your peers here is, what was something they learned about Van Gogh they didn't know before, or if there was something interesting you read in their thread, go ahead and comment on it. You must interact with your peers to get full credit on these assignments. So you can format it just below. So just bullet point, put that question there, and then answer it, right? These are just really straightforward and simple. You don't have to submit any attachments. Just go ahead and give yourself a subject and type your response right here in the message. Don't worry about attaching files, and then you'll hit submit here at the bottom. That's it. Easy, easy. Okay, let's jump back into those learning activities so we can see what is going on next. And here we are, week 1. Okay, so we've got our first discussion board on Van Gogh. You have your first copy assignment, and guess whose work we're copying? Van Gogh, right? So I want you to download these 2 PDFs, the Starry Night line drawing and a Van Gogh room drawing. So these are based on 2 of his very iconic works. I'm sure you've seen Starry Night. And then this is Van Gogh, one of his paintings called The Room. So again, these are just some basic line drawings based on his paintings. So you need to print both of these out. You're going to need your tracing paper for this assignment. And basically what you're going to do, and I will let you read through these more thoroughly, but you're going to overlay your tracing paper, and you're going to be doing 4 drawings here, okay? Now, you can split this up however you would like. You can do all 4 of them Starry Night, all 4 of them Room. You can do 2 Starry Nights, 2 of the Room. Doesn't matter to me. I just like to give you a couple different options. And this is based on something that's in the reading for this week. Basically, what you're going to be doing is each one of these 4 drawings is going to be in a different line style. So this is one of the times where you get to trace, but you're going to be tracing with purpose. You're going to be doing one tracing with bold lines, one with broken, one with pure, and one with lost and found lines. So those bold lines, use your fine point Sharpie, and focus on the strength. I want these bold lines. Don't be shy here. The broken lines, this kind of has more of a sketchy quality. This is a bit looser, a bit more emotional, emotive thing. Those pure lines are going to be really nice and clean and simple, crisp, right? And the lost and found. So you will notice I've told you to use a different drawing material for each of these. So emphasize those transitions from dark to light. Think about where in those drawings we should be darker, more intense, give more detail, and where we can be a little bit lighter and give a little bit less, leave it up to the imagination a little bit. So this is about, again, trying to help you find your personal style a little bit and experimenting with different line qualities, because different line qualities can communicate something very different to your viewer. So make sure that you have labeled them appropriately, and how you submit these is, because they're on tracing paper, you'll want to put a blank piece of white paper underneath them before you photograph or scan them so that we can see them very clearly. And then you're going to either photograph, scan, upload these to your computer, and you can submit these in one of several ways. And again, I'm going through things in more detail this week just because we're getting used to this. In the following weeks, I won't have to go through all the submission instructions. So you can either put them in a word processing program like Word. Be sure that you orient that to landscape, because that's how these images are oriented. Make sure that that image takes up most of the page. So don't give me a page with your scanned image, just real small. Make sure it takes up that page. So you can do this in a word processing document. You can do this in a PowerPoint presentation. You can also do it in either of those and then export it to a PDF if the file is getting a little large for your liking. Questions about this, please don't hesitate to ask me and we can walk through it together in more detail. Okay, you have your first create assignment. So we are going to be doing 4 activities here. Sometimes students leave one of these off at the end, and the one they leave off is this very first thing. It's the viewfinders. So go to page 14 in your textbook, create 2 viewfinders using your 2 sheets of black cardstock. This is basically just going to help us create a drawing plane for our paper each week as we draw. So we'll reuse these these viewfinders each week. All you have to do after you do these is just take a picture of them so that I know that you created them, okay? And include that in your submission. I will usually let you know if there are additional materials that you need for this week. These are usually things that you already have in your home. That's why they're not included in the syllabus in that materials list, because most people have a pair of scissors, most people own a ruler, right? So they will always be things like that. You're going to be doing workbook exercises 1, 2, 3, and 4 in your textbook. I've given you some advice on what types of pencils to use, and these are different weights, right? So some of them have very fine, light lead weight. Some of them are much heavier. And so I've given you instructions of which ones I think are best. You're welcome to use other ones if you want. I won't always know if you're using something different. Sometimes I can tell and I'll say, you know what, you're using a really a light lead weight and you need something a little bit heavier, or you're using something that's smudging too much and you want something a little crisper, okay? So for all workbook activities, use that 11 by 14 inch drawing pad. You are welcome to use the pages of your workbook for some of these. The reason I like you to do it on the drawing pad is because it preserves your workbook so that you can go back and do these activities again and again and you haven't kind of drawn all over it. Preserves that book so that, you know, someone else in your family maybe can use them eventually. Okay. We want to make sure that your exercises fit onto the page properly, right? So make sure that you are giving me that nice drawing space using your viewfinders. Make sure you are labeling everything correctly, and we got the same submission instructions here. So we're doing a pre-instruction self-portrait this week. Students tend to get a little intimidated by this. It's okay. Don't worry. Just go for it. If you get done and you think, oh my goodness, this looks awful, just laugh it off and submit it. It's fine, because guess what? We're doing self-portraits. I believe it's week 6 or 7 as well. And you're going to be so excited and blown away when you compare the two of them. So just go for it. You're going to be doing drawings of your hand as well, because hands are scary to draw. And so we're going to start tackling it right now. We're going to be drawing more hands later. You're going to do interior. So you're going to draw the corner of a room. And then you're going to do some warm-up and freehand drawing as well. So that is what we have going on this week. So you have your discussion board. You have your copy assignment, which is those 2 Van Gogh drawings, which you can, 4 total, but based on the 2 drawings by Van Gogh. And then we have 4 workbook activities. So dive in, have fun. Don't hesitate to send me an email if you have any questions, and have a fantastic week, everyone.